This is a race course that will become very turbulent, and with weather conditions playing the devil's advocate, heat exhaustion could retire much of the field. As the white flag dropped, each driver jockeyed for position as the Intercoastal Waterway came to life, as each Formula One tunnel boat revealed who had the best position to take the lead. Let's join the IOGP race announcer, Walt Yarborough.
This 1.25-mile course, and it's number 7, the Bud Light of Billy Seabold, going out in front with 77, Scott Gilman in beside him, and down tight on the outside is number 5, Rick Adamczyk, time 2, Crystal Rum, but it's Mr. Bill, Billy Seabold, jumping out to a very quick lead with 77, Scott Gilman, Chip and Pepper Whitware, down tight on the outside, but it's number 7, Mr. Bill, Bud Light Racing, he's out in front for the first time in what has been a very trouble-filled year for his Bud Light Racing team, but they finished second in St. Louis, Missouri. They come here to the year-end final to prove that they're still the best team in powerboat racing. But it's number 7, Billy Seabold. He's out in front. Then 77, Scott Gilman. Number 5, Rick Adamczyk. And then number 94, Steve D'Souza. D'Souza came here to Fort Lauderdale with Interstate Battery sponsor, trying to take his first victory here on the Bud Light International Onboard Grand Prix Circuit. But it's the red, white, and blue of Billy Seabold out in front. Number 7, Mr. Bill, the winningest driver in powerboat racing history. Like I said, he's had a tough year all year long, but he came back, finished second in his hometown of St. Louis. Now he's come here to the very rough intercoastal waters in Fort Lauderdale to try to show he is still king of the hill, and he's got it out front right now. Number 7, Mr. Bill, Billy Seabold. He's running a Formula One champ boat he designed himself. He's got electronic fuel-injected mercury on the back. There's number 5, Rick Adamczyk. That's a Mariner-powered Ram custom hull, also built by the man driving it. Rick Adamczyk has proved himself a champion in rough water conditions, winning this year at Pittsburgh. Coming here to Fort Lauderdale is Don Q. Crystal team, trying to pull off another victory for Don Q. Crystal. It's a Mariner-powered Ram custom hull. He hits the trim button. These boats able to adjust the attitude while they're running by trimming the engine in or out. When they trim it out, the nose lifts up. When they trim it in, it brings the nose back down on this rough water. This very buoyant salt water, high density. The prop gets a lot of bite. You have to control that trim button very gently and very softly on what can be this very dangerous race course here on the Intercoastal. With Rick Adamczyk in behind him, here comes the all-black Chip and Pepper Wetware of Scott Gilman. The boat he calls the Stealth. It's got electronically fuel-injected 2-liter mercury on the back of that Seabold design Formula One racing craft. As he sets it right up on its sail, the Intercoastal begins to get very rough out here in Fort Lauderdale. We're running in the shadows of the Bahia Mar Resort and Yacht Harbor right here on the Intercoastal. 94, Steve D'Souza comes by in his Interstate Battery team. He started on the pole, but has already begun to fall way back in the back as Scott Gilman sets it right up on its tail. He wants to do well. He wants to finish out this year so strong. Last year he won the championship. This year way out of the points race, but he wants to take home the winner bragging rights back to his new home in Aspen, Colorado. As number 77, Scott Gilman, comes off the corner. Back and forth is number 94, Steve D'Souza. D'Souza running a mercury-powered Burgess design Formula One racing craft. Interstate batteries on the side. It's green and black. It's Mariner power on the back. And it's Steve D'Souza. He's out of Augusta, Georgia. His brand new sponsor this year, doing very well for him, but has been unable to get it to victory lane yet so far. As he takes it off the corner and heads down a very dangerous race course, very narrow here on the Intercoastal. As there are concrete walls and steel pilings and wooden pilings all over the place in this Intercoastal Canal that runs from the tip of Mexico up and around the Gulf of Mexico, around Florida, all the way up the East Coast. But we're using only 1.25 miles of it here in Fort Lauderdale to put on the final race of the year, the Bellstop Mobility Grand Prix, the final race, the Bud Light International Onboard Grand Prix Series, as number 94, Steve D'Souza, who started on the pole position but almost instantly fell back to 4th place, has begun his chase here on what is going to be the very rough Intercoastal Canal. They ought to begin to pull up on some of the slower back markers as D'Souza takes it down tight to the inside. Again, that's an English design, designed by David Burgess, Formula One racing craft. These boats, that particular one, built out of 2 types of wood, Obici and Okumi, both motor and driver, 1,050 pounds. That's the minimum weight. They've got to weigh that by the end of the race. That's with whatever fuel they have on board and however wet things get. Here we're on the salt water. It's got high density, great buoyancy, and also can cause electrical problems. The salt water, the corrosive factor, that almost takes place immediately. But right now, number 7, Billy Seabold, goes around on the inside, gets around the Hooters boat of Bobby Humphrey. But he looks in his rearview mirror as he sees the blue and white of Rick Adamczyk. As Bill Seabold trying to take advantage of what is right now relatively smooth water here on the Intercoastal to stretch out his lead. He goes down to turn number 1. Very quickly across to turn number 2. You can see how narrow this race course. Going down tight on that number 2 buoy is Rick Adamczyk. But the red, white, and blue of Billy Seabold, Bud Light Racing, comes roaring by down the front straightaway.
As Bill Siebold fights to maintain his top position, Mercury High Performance brought two of the top professionals in the country together to experience each other's world.
He is Bill Siebold, an IOGP national champion, one of this country's top tunnel boat racers. He is Gary Klein, a Bass Angler of the Year, one of this country's top professional fishermen. Recently, these two top professionals had a chance to get together and trade tips on their respective powerboat sports. For Klein, it was a chance to sample the power and grace of the Mercury tunnel boat.
It does, I feel the need for speed.
It's got to be a weird feeling, sitting in the back of a boat, not really knowing where the person's going to steer and how they're going to react.
Right. Don't panic. Okay, we're not going to panic. We got everything under control. Just bringing up the speed slowly, and I noticed when we go past that we'll get a pretty good chop. So when I get to that point, I'm going to back off and go ahead and make the tunnel come back and run some of this down there. That sounds great to me. Let's do it.
The crossover into Bill Siebold's world is really neat, and plus to have a teacher like that, somebody that's sitting behind you telling you how to drive the boat, how to control it, and how it's going to respond. I mean, for somebody like me, you can never ask for any more than that.
For Bill Siebold, the get-together with Gary Klein was a chance to pick up some tips on bass fishing.
So hear that strike in the background, Bill?
Yeah, it is. That one out, Gary.
I'd say it's probably about 15 ounces, maybe a pound.
Okay.
In some tournaments, that would be a keeper, and there's been some times where that fish right there cost me more than $50,000 just the weight of that one fish. So
basically, they're powerboat racers that are carrying fishing rods with them, and they have to also know what they're doing when they get back in the coves, like Gary does here.
Champions from different backgrounds who found a common ground speeding across the water.
one thing earlier that
Billy Siebold. Down tight to the inside goes Gilman, and Gilman is able to overtake and get around Rick Adamczyk. He was being pushed very hard by Benny Robertson, but the young man out of Aspen, Colorado, chipped and pepper wetware on the side, has taken over second place, and now he's got the job of trying to chase down the red, white, and blue of Billy Siebold. And look out, oh! We had number 3, the Hooters boat of Bobby Humphrey. He struck the number 5 boat of Rick Adamczyk, and that slows Adamczyk down, and that's going to let Benny Robertson move up to that 3rd position. So now Robertson is back on the tail of 77 Scott Gilman as they all chase Mr. Billy Siebold.
We'll return to the Bahia Mar Resort on the Intercoastal Waterway as racing continues. Welcome back to the 1991 Bell South Mobility Grand Prix as we rejoin IOGP race announcer Walt Yarbrough.
Adamczyk over the first 28 laps, or 27 laps, held on to second place. And then in a banging incident with Bobby Humphrey, fell back to that 4th position. And now Benny Robertson has made his way up to second and is closing in on Mr. Billy Siebold. And now on the outside is Bill Siebold coming down on the inside. There's 51 Benny Robertson, and he powers around him. And Robertson is pushing that equipment to its maximum limit. There's 77 Scott Gilman. You can see how rough and frothy the waters of the Intercoastal have become. And look out, Benny Robertson bangs him at 25. That is Roscoe, as Billy Roscoe got banged by number 51 Benny Robertson. As Robertson going on, here comes 77 Scott Gilman. He tries to take over second place from number 7 Billy Siebold for 29 laps. Siebold led this race, and then number 51 Benny Robertson got around him, and now number 77 Scott Gilman has begun to get around him. What kind of bad luck has continued to plague this man from St. Louis, Missouri all this year on the Bud Light International Outboard Grand Prix Series. And now 77 Scott Gilman gets around Bill Siebold and continues his hot pursuit of the man out of Charleston, North Carolina, the spirit of Indianapolis, Bob Thompson American Racing, with Benny Robertson at the helm, as Robertson has come to 14th position to take the lead here this afternoon. And 77 Scott Gilman has begun to ring it out. He's got Pepper of Chip and Pepper standing over in the pit area. He's watching his lookout. Ho, ho, ho! Scott Gilman is taking out all stops. He has really begun to take a lot of chances. He wants to win here all year long. He's finished the race. He's won the race. But right now he's got a challenge from the man out in front. Right there, the spirit of Indianapolis on the side. The home of the great Indianapolis 500. That's where his sponsor lives, Bob Thompson American Racing. And Benny Robertson out of Charleston, North Carolina, trying to take the Bob Thompson spirit of Indianapolis to the checkered flag here in Fort Lauderdale. Down south over the Powerboat Grand Prix as Robertson just swings it out. He is really pushing his equipment hard. This three-time former world champion trying to prove his medal here on the Bud Light International Outboard Grand Prix circuit has shown him all the way around this race course this afternoon. So right now it is 51. Benny Robertson out in front. 77 Scott Gilman in second. Number 7 Billy Siebel. He's back there in third with number 5 Rick Hanacek back and forth trying to get around. Number 57 that's Mark Trotter. Trotter out of North Charleston. So look out! Oh, that is 51 Benny Robertson coming off the corner and he set it high flying and now he's going nearly dead in the water. I wonder if he overwound that motor when he set it up in the corner, but no, he takes off again. But Benny Robertson, oh look out! Now Scott Gilman. It is really getting rough out there in the Intercoastal. You saw Benny Robertson come off the corner and nearly blow it over. And then as he slows down, and Scott Gilman moves up into first place. It's Gilman getting loose here on the Intercoastal. So as the race begins to wind down, it is becoming very tough out there on the Intercoastal. But we've got a new leader. He's out of Aspen, Colorado. He's sponsored by Chip and Pepper Wetware. He's right there, and his name is Scott Gilman. As Bestell takes over the lead from a wild running Benny Robertson. Robertson catches back up and comes off the corner, and he is slowing down. And that puts this man, 77 Scott Gilman, out of the lead.
When we return, will Craig Lynch's chances be spoiled by an old friend? Welcome back to the Bud Light International Championship on the turbulent Intercoastal Waterway.
There's Bill Siebel, the man from St. Louis, Missouri. He's coming off a second place finish. Look out, Bill! And Bill has begun to charge hard again with number 5 Rick Hanacek in behind him. Maybe this is a late race push by Billy Siebel coming off a second place win in his hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. Sponsored by Bud Light, has had tough luck all year long. His second place finish in St. Louis was his best for this season. And now he's sitting in second place again and pushing hard towards the front as Billy Siebel brings it off the corner. Red, white, and blue. Siebel design. Formula One racing craft. Also built out of Obicino Kumi. He's got a Mercury 2-liter electronically fuel-injected engine on the back. As Siebel is taking it down to rough waters in the Intercoastal. It's a 1.25-mile course. We've got 46 laps completed and only 4 laps left to go. Can the man from St. Louis, Missouri run down the young man out of Aspen, Colorado? As the red, white, and blue, this Bud Light for you is sitting up there in second place. As Billy Siebel brings it down the back straightaway. He'll be setting it up down here on turn number 1 when they come around this time. It'll be 47 laps completed, only 3 laps left to go. As Siebel brings it off the corner, sets it right up on his tail. In behind him is still the blue and white of the Don Q Crystal of Rick Hanacek. Hanacek has been behind Bill Siebel all day long. You can see the hole up there in the outside sponsor where his impact with Bobby Humphrey caused him to fall back on the field. But now he's moved back up to third position. There's number 78, David Ratcliffe in the Starbird. Wonderland Marine saying wide to the outside. This young rookie to the Formula One champion class for this year. But Hanacek in his Mariner-powered Ram Custom Hull is still back in third position, trying to pick up points towards the Bud Light International Outboard Grand Prix Championship for this year. But it's number 50, Craig Webb. He's sitting and going home towards the points championship. But Rick Hanacek is doing all he can in Mariner-powered Ram Custom Hull as Bill Siebel sitting there in second. But the man out in front is number 77, Scott Gilman. They're sitting in fourth position is number 11, Michael Siebel. As Siebel late in the race begins to close up on the leaders. As Michael Siebel with 47 laps completed and only 3 laps left to go is now up in fourth position. As Siebel tries to come down this Siebel Powerboat and his Sundance Marine sponsored entry. Sundance Marine out here on the Intercoastal sponsored here this weekend along with his family company, Siebel Powerboats. Of course, that is a Siebel design Formula One racing craft with a Mercury on the back and on the side decks. Is his sponsor this weekend, Sundance Marine, but there's your leader, number 77, Scott Gilman. He's got 48 laps completed, just 2 laps left to go. As Gilman takes it down to turn number 1. There's his good friend and points leader, number 50, Craig Went. As Went, as though he's got 2 more laps to go to win the national championship. But right now, Gilman only worrying about taking the checkered flag here in Fort Lauderdale. The Bell South Mobility Powerboat Grand Prix. It's Chip and Pepper Wetware as he's out in front. He takes it down around the corner. He is on lap 49. He brings it down to turn number 1. Across very quickly to turn number 2. When he comes down this time, he'll be picking up the checkered flag for the victory here in Fort Lauderdale. As he brings it down the front straightaway, there's the checkered flag for the man out of Aspen, Colorado. Chip and Pepper Wetware, number 77, Scott Gilman, with number 7, Bill Siebel, finishing in behind him, and number 5, Rick Hanacek, finishing third.
As Scott Gilman took the checkered flag, not only did he turn around what has been an up and down season, it put a new light on who did win the overall title.
You know, Benny had the lead. I figured he had a run until like 10 laps left, and we caught up to him, and then his motor must have stopped for that. So, you know, it's just a long, hard, beat-up race there, and we're just happy to come out on top.
And again,